There's only one way to get these dogs up to snuff. Or, hey bad dogs, you're done. It's time for you to become angels now. Get ready, little bad dogs. Dogs.
Dogs.
Dogs. Let's talk dogs. Our beloved besties who around 20,000 years ago genetically descended from the gray wolf. We don't know exactly how dogs came to be, but there are a ton of hypotheses, many of which go something along the lines of ancient humans give docile wolves food, docile wolves hang around and alert said humans of potential danger, over and over and over again. Until the gray wolf, scientifically known as Canis lupus, became the dog, scientifically known as Canis lupus familiaris, which in Latin just means gray wolf friend. Speaking of friends, this is Henry. Henry is kind of perfect. He doesn't bark, he has no teeth, and he fits in a tote bag. And all he wants to do is cuddle. Yes, believe it or not, at one point in history, this was somehow a wolf. So I kind of got the luck of the doggy draw. My colleagues here, they're not so lucky. We've got some pretty badly behaved boys and girls. These pups are problem pups. Okay, I'm kidding. They're actually sweet baby angels. But still, all of my coworkers seem to have some sort of communication that they wanted to improve with their dogs. Take Whiskey. She's scared of pretty much everything. Or Lola. She doesn't seem to understand the concept of walking on a leash, and she hates skateboards. And lastly, Mickey, who, well, we call him the grumpy old man. When it comes to communication with dogs, us humans have been doing it for thousands of years. Dogs were the first domesticated animal, 10,000 years older than goats and sheep and 17,000 years older than horses. So if the ancient humans could figure it out, then we should be able to as well, right? So I took to TikTok to find a dog trainer that can take these girls and boys and make them stars.
The way Whiskey is approaching Lola right now, very cautious. She's very still. She's unsure and she's checking in with you. That's another thing. When our dogs look up at us, on a walk, in the house, whatever, they're literally looking to us for reassurance. Dogs speak in a completely different way than we do. Our dogs primarily communicate through body language.
Meet Kat and Tyler, dog trainers at the Tired Pooch. We started out with Mickey, who wasn't very happy that Kat's dog Lucifer was close to him. So Kat encouraged Christy to reward Mickey as soon as he disengaged from Lucifer.
The more you reinforce what you like, the more likely the dog is going to give you that in the future. So anytime that your dogs, whether they're nervous or not, they check in with you and they look at you, reinforce that. Tell them you like that. At the end of the day, you're the most important thing, or you should be the most important thing to your dog. And that's at the point where he was staring at you, not knowing what to do next. So when you reinforce him positively with that treat, he's more likely to give you more of that behavior.
Next up, something called reward markers.
So when it comes to reward markers, when you're saying yes, or whatever word you want to use as your marker word for your dog, make sure you're charging up that yes to always mean paycheck.
And there's a simple exercise you can do to make yes mean reward. You can do this in the home. You just take the dog's food, meals, treats, doesn't really matter. Get the dog to sit. You're gonna put the food behind your back. Your dog will then give you eye contact. You say yes and food. You don't want to say yes and food at the same time. You want to say yes followed by food. So if Whiskey disengaged from Henry and you like that behavior of disengaging from the dog, you want to say yes followed up with a reward. Right now, Lucifer's gonna go check out Whiskey. He's gonna disengage. Yes, I'm going to reward. Using positive reinforcement, the act of introducing something desirable, treat, to a behavior I like will increase the frequency of that behavior. And that's the act of counter-conditioning, changing a response to a stimuli.
Since Whiskey can get nervous around loud sounds, Kat worked on some counter-conditioning, making the noise and then introducing a treat.
And I'm gonna make it a little bit faster. I'm gonna make it a little bit louder. The more interesting and more loud I make it, the more I'm throwing the reinforcement in. We want this sound to become, it's whatever, but I'm getting food. She's involved in an activity right now. Good girl, Whiskey.
Lola wasn't too happy about the sounds either, which brings us to the skateboard. While Lola worked on some skateboard counter-conditioning, we learned about another key body language sign.
That That was a stress release shake. Have you heard of those before? A few of you might notice that your dogs do this quite often. So I removed the pressure. This is pressure. This is something that gets Lola, gets her feels going. When I removed the stressful thing from the situation and myself, she did a stress release shake. There's nothing you have to say to your dog about that. There's nothing you have to do about that. But it gives you as an owner an indication of, oh, okay, my dog was uncomfortable. The moment that that was removed from whatever distance, she felt a bit of relief. Yes, good girl, Lola. And there's a stress relief shake. We're doing something different, but she's having a good time.
According to Kat and Tyler, one key thing about training your dog is that they don't actually learn from pressure. Instead, they learn from the release of pressure.
Going to apply a small amount of pressure. Once he gives into the pressure, yes! I mark and I reward. You're marking the leash turning loose, which is an indicator to your dog. That's why you need a yes marker charged up, because you're trying to mark, yes, the loose leash when the pressure's off.
It took a minute, but Lola finally got it.
So back up a little bit more. Yes! There you go, good girl. When you control the dog's head, you control the dog's mind, which in turn controls the dog's body.
I always thought that if you reward after a negative behavior, you're enforcing the negative behavior. But your theory is actually when the negative behavior happens, you distract.
What we're doing with all the dogs is getting that focus back on the owner. It's not necessarily a distraction as in engagement. That split second, dogs live in the moment. So if your dog is barking and you just shove food in its face and you say, yes, I like that, you're gonna get more barking. But if you can get that dog to turn around, look at its owner, engage with its owner, and then you say, yes, that's what I want, you're marking that engagement. Dogs aren't that complicated. We are. We make dogs complicated. But at the end of the day, they're not that complicated.
Truer words were never spoken. Thank you so much.
So you heard it here first. Dogs aren't that complicated after all. It's really all about tuning into your dog's body language and reassuring them that you got their back, treats and all. So try out some of these tips and let me know in the comments how you communicate with your dog.